AskReddit by OKBreak 2499. Is using the services of a prostitute, legally and consensually etc., a bad thing in your eyes? And why? As long as it's above the board. No human trafficking or pimps involved or things like that. To adults with informed consent doing whatever the fuck they want, I don't care. I have 2 rules for life. 1. Anyone can do whatever they want in life provided it doesn't impact anyone else, and if it does 2, it is consensual. Not my thing, but it's just 2 adults solving each other problems. In a perfect world, absolutely. The reality of sex trafficking is real and takes away agency. For everyone? No. But can you tell? Selling is legal. Fucking is legal, so why isn't selling fucking legal? Join the army and get an award for punching a bunch of holes in people with lead, but pay someone for an orgasm. Straight to jail. George Carlin followed that up with, why is it illegal to sell something that is perfectly legal to give for free? He had a great point there. I think that morally it's okay as long as the escort is doing it out of their own free will and isn't being coerced or forced into it. I agree, that's why I meant legally and consensually. Legalization would make it safer by bringing it out of the shadows, thereby reducing human trafficking and abuse. I recently read an article about the legal brothels in Nevada denying women the right to their cars. Strict curfews, a huge cut for the house. It might not be classic trafficking, but there is still abuse there. It's weird because I have personal experience. Recently was hitting it off with a guy and went on a few dates. He is 33. He's never had a girlfriend and the only women he's ever slept with are sex workers. I wasn't judging him, but when he said he couldn't go forward with me because his vision of women in the real world wasn't realistic and he'd rather stick to sex workers forever, then I took pause. Because it's now affected his ability to have any interpersonal relationships of any kind. He also has no friends and has no intention to move out of his parents' house. Let's be real here, if he hadn't seen sex workers then he'd be in the exact same situation but without the sex. Seeing sex workers didn't make him like that, he was already like that. It would be cool if there were thorough, on-the-spot STD tests at brothels, protecting both the worker and customer. From a moral perspective, no. I don't think it's inherently wrong. It certainly comes with its own risks, complexities and consequences. Under the correct conditions with due consideration, I think it's alright. It's the abuse of such an arrangement, particularly when it's not necessary, that I disagree with. Rich dude banging hookers on the side with a wife and kids at home? Not so great. Person with a disfiguring injury getting to experience fundamental human interactions? No qualms whatsoever. Nope. People want to have sex. I personally don't use this kind of service, but I don't think it's bad and I think it should be legal all over the globe. WTF wrong with it? It's the oldest profession. I have no issues with it. They just have to be consenting adults. It says legally and consensually right in the question. That means that, in this hypothetical, the sex worker is not being coerced or trafficked. When answering this question, you do not need to virtue signal by telling everyone that it's wrong if they are being coerced or trafficked. I will never understand why consensual prostitution is illegal. Selling is legal. Consensual sex is legal, so why isn't selling consensual sex legal? As a purely personal opinion I say yes, but just for myself. I find it gross. As for the general argument of whether it should be allowed, I don't care as long as it doesn't hurt anyone. Cut out the coercion, trafficking, etc., and add in a good healthcare system and make it legal. Just think of the tax base there that's untouched. Between that, legalizing marijuana, and possibly a few other things, just imagine how much more tax money could feed into the system and help pay for universal healthcare that won't leave everyone bankrupt. No. I'm not American, so I wasn't raised culturally Puritan and don't have this weird idea that every chick who opens her legs for cash is a traffic sex slave. No, it's not a bad thing. Just do your homework on the company and be safe. No, why would it be? It's a standard business service. Someone wants a service and pays someone else to perform that service. First world countries that have legalized it, like Australia, have only reported good things from it. Happier, healthier people from the customer and provider side. Lower divorce rates and a drop in STDs, as well as less sexual crimes committed. They've also received massive amounts of tourism for this one product they provide that's very low maintenance when compared to other things that can suck up state and federal funds. You also have to think about the massive mental boost it can provide. Isolation from people has a massively negative effect on the human mind. I have a friend who is terrified of relationships, but it's extremely lonely. It would greatly benefit his mental health to go out and get sexual services on command. There are two adults consenting and doing what they want to do. It's not something I'd ever do, but I'm not going to judge others for doing it. You're asking this on a male-dominated site. You already know that you will get the validation you seek. But as a woman, I can confidently say that most women would view a man using these services as a red flag. Most women are in the sex industry due to financial desperation or coercion. Taking advantage of her and calling that a fair trade is not only intellectually dishonest, it's also morally repulsive. No woman should have to turn to sex work to afford basic necessities. Ready for the downvotes. OMG, thank you, the comments are a massive circle jerk lol. If you're close enough to your friend that you're willing to tell them you banged an escort, they probably won't stop being your friend if you did. If you're wondering if your wife will hate you for it, fair bet they won't be happy. If you're worried about a future partner not liking it, you have to weigh that possibility over sorting out what you need in the here and now. I'm married. I love my wife. I would never betray her like that. Lol, vast majority of guys that use escorts are married. Personally, I see it as demoralizing to the other person. For me, I see it as an act of desperation. Am I really so desperate to have sex that I'm going to go to a random lady and pay for it? My father owned massage parlors in DC back in the 70s. It's a sad and depressing business.